Welcome to the channel. Now, if you're overwhelmed about all the choices for getting a great bike packing setup and you're new to the sport and think, well, maybe this is something I won't do in the long term, and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you're in the right place, because I'm going to show you how to make a simple setup that's effective for less than $20, 20 euros or 20 pounds. Let's get started. I want to cover the basics first because I honestly do believe, as I said in that intro, that bike packing, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to like it, and therefore to go out and spend a lot of money for your first trip, it doesn't make sense. You don't want to be buying a load of racks, panniers, dry bags, special dedicated bags, all these kind of things. It's honestly not necessary. To get you going for that price of around $20, 20 euros, 20 pounds, I would say you're only going to need one thing. I believe all you need is this, the simple bike rack. You can get these all day long for around $20, somewhere like Decathlon, Amazon, eBay, any of those kind of places, you'll be able to get one, no problem, honestly. This one's a little bit more expensive. I'm not using a cheap one, it just happens that this is the one I've got. So before we go any further, I'll turn around and I'll show you how easy these are to put on. First thing is, all of these are adjustable. You see that the struts here that fit onto the rear seat posts, well, they can be changed so that you can keep the back of the rack absolutely level and parallel to the floor. I've already adjusted this one, so it's a lot easier to fit. But these two go at the back on the seat stays, and the ones here, that just fits onto your dropouts. Okay, let's get going. Let's get this fixed. Okay guys, I'm stuck in the clock. 1 minute 50 seconds. Now, yes, that is easier because I've already adjusted this here, but honestly, you can see how easy these racks are to fit, and that'll be rock solid. That's going nowhere. You can see here, I've attached the rack with the bolts here on the seat stays, one here and one over here, and then at the bottom, just on the dropouts, and that really is it. Shouldn't take too long. When you first get it, you'll have to also attach this here on the back of the rack. It depends on what kind of system you've got, but generally this is the system. 2 bolts at the top here and 2 at the bottom. Yeah, nice and easy, simple. It's worth pointing out here that not everyone is going to have these attachment points where you can secure the rack. The 2 at the top here, 2 at the bottom. If your bike doesn't have these, and if you have a road bike, well, they probably won't have these attachment points. You're going to need one of these. I'm not covering this today, but basically this just secures on the back of your seat post like that. This one, well, this is an Apidura. It's quite expensive, actually. It's over $100. But when I first tried this kind of bike packing, I bought a really basic one off Amazon, and I paid about $15 or $16. Get them off eBay as well, any of those type of places. So you don't really need to go to this super expensive, hard-wearing, waterproof kind of bag in the first instance. So here we are. Hopefully you can secure the rack. $20, that's all you need to spend. If you can't, go for this kind of bag, and for about the same price you still have enough space in there for a weekend trip. Let's move on. Okay guys, so how are you going to carry all your stuff? Well, that's really simple. There's 2 options. One of them maybe you've got one of these lying around, which is a dry bag. If you have, you can put your stuff in here and simply secure it to the back. But if not, don't worry, because most of us have these sort of things lying around, old computer bags, or maybe an old rucksack that we've had lying around forever. So whichever option you want, just find an old bag. Most people will have a laptop bag or an old rucksack. I'm sure if you haven't, you'll be able to borrow one. I'm going to use a rucksack today, and the reason I'm doing that is because the first time I got back into bike packing stroke touring was about 10 years ago, and this is exactly the setup I had for a weekend. I bought a cheap rack, not this one, it was about $20, and I used this rucksack, and I'm going to use it again for this weekend. This is my packed bag. I'm going away tomorrow for the weekend, 2 days and 2 nights, and everything I need is going to be in this bag. All I have to do now is secure it on the back. And there we are. It's as simple as that. That's not going to go anywhere. If you're worried, use a second attachment and you're done. It's not exactly a very sophisticated way to do things, but it honestly works. However, there is one thing that might be worrying a few of you, and that is, what happens if it rains? Well, I've got you covered for that as well. Now, this is brilliantly simple. Trust me when I tell you, it does work. All you need is a garden sack, and that's it. Pop that in. On the back again. Secure everything up, and you're good to go. Now at this point, there may be some of you saying, well, we're not going to stay in hotels, we're not staying with friends, we're not going to have enough room to put our camping gear in that setup. Well, don't worry, because I've got you covered here as well. It's easy to actually put camping gear in another backpack, and I'm going to show you how. To pack away all my camping gear, just got this old computer bag. Here's a 2-man tent. Trust me, that's not small. Quite a big sleeping mat. Still room for the pillow. And still room for the sleeping bag. And the stove. All I'm going to do now is wrap this up in another bag. That's my sleeping system. Let's put it on the bike. And now I'm going to put the rest of my gear. This is all my clothes, tools, all that kind of thing that I'm going to need for a 2-day, 2-night trip. And there we are. That's all for $20. Not bad, eh? A camping setup and everything I'll need for like clothes, toiletries, tools, etc. in this bag here. Now, I've just put that on very quickly. I think you're going to need a bit more time and maybe another bungee to secure it, but it does work. I've done it before. If you just want to give bike packing, bike touring a go, do this kind of setup. Don't spend a lot of money. This is fine, honestly. You'll have no problem at all. Now, one more thing that you can use that I quite like is one of these. These will attach to the back, and once you get them on, they're superb for just putting another bottle of water under there, maybe some food that you pick up along the way. And honestly, that's the lot. Not difficult, super easy and super cheap, and that's important. It's pointless spending a load of money on kit you may never use again. No point whatsoever. Now, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to set off tomorrow. I'm not using the camping kit. I'm just going to use what's in that bag there, because I'm going to stay in cheap bed and breakfasts. What I will do though is, on the way, it's a 2-day trip that covers 100 miles. I'm going to show you exactly what I take for a 2-day non-camping trip. Looking forward to it. I'll see you in the next video. If you've got to this point, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free to do so. It helps out the channel absolute tons.